Welcome to Washington East to West Sports. This is episode 115. I am Matt Beatty, joined alongside, as usual, by Sean Beatty and Kevin Ardell. If you want to get involved in the show, go ahead and tweet us. I'm at Beatty_Matt. Sean is at NastyBilly22. Kevin is at C2Believe. That's SEA2Believe on X or Twitter. Subscribe to us. Tell us what you think of the topics we talk about in the comments below. Let's get to some WNBA, but mainly women's basketball. Jewell Loyd, Seattle Storm star, has been named to the U.S. Olympic team. And I don't know if anybody here has seen the roster, but that U.S. women's basketball team that's going to Paris next month is stacked. Sean, did you see this? What do you think of the news and what do you think of the roster?
Um, I did see the news. I did see the roster. Have been watching the Storm, who are playing much better than they did last year. Much better. Um, I will. I'll get to the elephant in the room. Caitlin Clark is not on the roster. Um, there's a reason. Well, there's a pro and a con. See, a lot of people in today's sports and in today's world think it's like black and white. I get why she's not on the roster. Is she one of the 12 best girls in the world? No, in the WNBA. Simply no. However, there are two girls who are hurt and will not play, already named to the roster. But the process as old UConn center Matthew
Brianna
Rebecca
Stoughton?
Lobo Rebecca Lobo
Oh,
like
yeah.
really center. She said that this technically the process has been going for before the season even starts, like they do training camps and stuff like that. So like it's really hard for a rookie to even be on it because they've started already this process for a while. So it's really hard. But the other double-edged sword is if you're riding this huge momentum of watching games. We watch games at this house. I do feel it's a little bit of a mistake to leave her off of it just because there's be so many more eyeballs on it if you did bring her to it. Even if she sits, that's fine. Um, it's just a grow in the sport. I get that Lyre's like, she maybe not be one of the best 12, but at the end of the day, it's a business. You want to grow that business. It's hard to leave her off just from a money perspective. Like, but I get both sides. Is she one of the best 12 or so? Is it 12? I think 15. Is that where they ended up?
I
15?
think they have
I think
12, pretty sure.
12, but like some backups. But yeah,
Well, yeah.
is she one of the best 12 at this point? No. But I also get it by growing your sport. It would probably made more sense to put her on, but I get both sides. And so it's funny to watch both sides yell at each other on the internet about two different things. So, like if you're arguing money, yes, it would have made sense. If you're arguing talent, maybe not yet. But I did see Loyd make it deservedly so. She's leading a pretty, like I said, pretty good Storm team right now. And for a lot of things, I think this. I don't know if like this good will continue. They're 7-4. They're second in the conference. But I expect them to be above 500 this year. That also that kind of leans into the rest of the conference a little bit, but I think they're pretty good. So yeah, it's a nice 1 year bounce back for the Storm.
Well, a lot of people are expecting him to be pretty good, especially with Skylar Diggins-Smith and Mecca Ogumake. So, I mean, they're playing well so far, so we'll see if they can keep it up. But it sounds like I know they were more long-term signings, so hopefully this will be more of what's to come, and they re-sign Jewell Loyd to a long-term contract. But
Their
uh,
second round pick out of Indiana. I have a coworker, big Indiana fan. He said she's a beast, but she's coming off of ACL surgery.
yeah,
So they said
true.
wait a year, she's gonna be like massive. So, but yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I think the U.S. women's basketball team,
yeah.
I didn't even think we were going to get into Caitlin Clark, but I think I would agree with Sean. Like in terms of talent, she's just not quite there. Eyeballs, sure, but do you want to win gold or do you want to look good? I think you're probably going to win gold either way, but
Exactly. You're gonna win gold either way. It
um,
doesn't matter.
uh,
Being on the team.
but if you want to give yourself a better shot, they made the right call,
Matthew,
I
have
think.
they? I think officially they haven't lost a game. So I don't. I think the
Uh,
gap is very
Well,
large.
that's the thing though.
Like
Do you want to be the first team to be that? No, you do not. So,
no, but like I think they could not even play any of these people and still probably win the gold. Let's put it that way. They don't. They could play their B team, maybe the C team, win the gold.
uh, I mean, I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, but like
Kevin?
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying like, would one roster spot really deter it? No, it wouldn't change anything, but probably get more eyeballs. But I mean, it's whatever. It's fine. It's
Yeah.
not to get too worked about. Like
Kevin, did you hear this news and what'd you
Kevin,
think?
I heard about the news, but I'm not much of a WNBA follower, so I I think it's cool, anytime Seattle Storm, even whether they're, on the roster like alternate, any, Seattle sports going to it is pretty sweet. I know that from what I've heard from others that the team is pretty stacked. We'll probably dominate because I don't think of any other outside country that's probably got the talent that we do. So
Can I say something? Storm playing right now, and I'm keeping tabs on it. I love the full play-by-play by ESPN because it gives like sort of commentary. It's like Diggin Smith had a bad pass, and it's a steal. I'm like, it wasn't just a steal from somebody. It literally called her out for just quote bad pass. I've never seen that. It usually just tells you the answer, but it was just like,
Calls it how to see him.
yeah, like in the play-by-play, it's usually like 4-yard rush, first down. It's not like a this tackle by so and so, first down. Like it was just like wow, like they just I don't see any others here. They just called her out. Way to go. Way to be mean, ESPN.
All
Wow.
right, well, let's move on to some rugby. That's right, I said rugby. The Seattle Seawolves have officially clinched a spot in the Major League Rugby playoffs. They have 3 games left on the road against the Houston SaberCats on Saturday. Then they're at their home finale on the 22nd against RFC Los Angeles. And then they wrap up the regular season on the road against the San Diego Legion. I went to my first rugby match this year. And the Seawolves, it was close against Anthem in the first half, but then they pulled away and won pretty handily. So Sean, I know you're getting into rugby. What have you thought of the Seawolves season so far?
Um, I'll say I've said it before. The best team in Seattle is the Seawolves. But yeah, they're very very good. It's unfortunate that like it feels like every year it's like Houston, Seattle, or San Diego are like an absolute juggernaut. And the Seawolves the last couple years have been like super good, like clearly the second best team. Like there's a huge gap. But the problem is they're never the number one team. Like Houston is by far the best team in the league this year, but the Seawolves are clearly the second best team, and they're the only one that could even give them a shot, a run for it. So um, they lock the playoffs up, and then it's going to probably be go time against Houston in the conference finals. So I mean, anytime you guys give yourself a shot, it's good. So yeah, they just keep churning them out, man. They just keep churning out. Just more people need to watch because the Seawolves are dominant. They just dominate every year. I think they had one year where they didn't make the playoffs, and other than that, they've been in the conference championship, if not the finals, and winning. So yeah, they're very very good. More people should watch. Although they make more of an effort. I know I get it. You got to sign it, got to do it, but put it on TV more or easily accessible TV because
I did watch
yeah.
my friends, the athletic trainer for Anthem, and they were on Fox Sports 2 the other day
Yes.
before we left. They were ahead against I believe it was uh, Dallas, but they ended up losing in the very end there. So they are 0-13, but it's their first year in the league. So tough
It's
ask.
not exactly football, but like people like football here. It is a lot similar to football than people like. So if you like the physicality of football, it's like it's fun. It's fun to watch. There's a lot of strategy too. People just think it's not, but it's yeah, it's fun.
Kevin, you interested in rugby?
I mean, I don't mind watching rugby, but unfortunately, I just don't have the time to kind of keep track of the Seawolves. But hey, if they can bring Seattle a championship, I'm all for it.
Another championship, you mean?
Another, yeah.
Another
But
one.
yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about some hockey news. No, not the Stanley Cup Finals, but the Seattle Kraken have hired a coach, Dan. I honestly forget how to say his name. Bylsma, Sean, is that right? Bylsma,
I've heard couple ways, so I don't know. Your guess is good.
All right. Well, yeah. Dan Bylsma. He was an NHL coach with Pittsburgh, won a Stanley Cup, made the playoffs 6 times, and won the Coach of the Year award. He takes over for Dave Haxtell after, 3 years. So Sean, what did you think of the hire?
I guess I'll start with the fire. I don't know if I necessarily agree so much with the fire. I could he could Dan be an upgrade? Yes, over Hackstall, but I think there were a couple things missed with Hackstall, but I don't think he was a major problem. I just think the major problem was the talent, the lack of like high end talent on this team. Um, so I I'm hoping Dan can take what he did with Coachella, because Coachella's been very good last year with him as their head coach. He was their head coach last year. But I just so he Coachella had a couple big line guys, Frankus and like that. But like I with Pittsburgh, he won a Stanley Cup. Obviously, everyone knows who their two big studs were. He had studs in Coachella. He doesn't have it here, so his kind of like his MO isn't going to be here. So it's going to be he's going to have to do something he hasn't done before, and it's win without two stars. And so I am a little nervous, but I do I do like that they're giving him a shot. I don't like that, like they're recycling old coaches, but that doesn't mean you should be neglected from it. He's not super old. He has had success. At the end of the day, coaching in the NHL is hard because there's not without the top talent. It's kind of like it's like coaching the NFL without an elite quarterback. It's yeah, you could do some things with it, but what is your end goal to get here? And he's not going to move the needle to get their end goal. He's not going to be able to get them to the cup because that is beyond his capability. He needs other things to get him there. So he won't. I don't think he'll screw it up. Let's put that. I don't think he'll be a reason that something happens. But like, if people are looking for him, like this is the guy that's going to lead us to a Stanley Cup because he has one, it's not that situation here. Like roster things, GM things need to change before that happens. I'm not saying fire the GM, but you know what I mean. Like you have to insert that talent somewhere, and hopefully it's coming. But
Yeah, I was surprised by the Hackstall firing myself. I think part of it was the after coming off the season where they were able to win a playoff series and then take Dallas to 7 games. I think that probably upped the expectations a little higher than they probably should have been this past year, and that was probably partially the reason for the firing. I don't really think that Dave did a bad job. There are probably some things he could have done differently, like maybe changed his lines up a little bit more. But Sean mentioned the talent aspect, and there's only so much you can do with what you have. So, did the talent perform up to what they probably could have been? No. So that is partially on Dave, but at the same time, I don't think he deserved to be fired after that because, down year, first year, up year, down year. I thought they'd at least give him one more year, but now that they have moved on from him and hired Dan, I don't think this is a big change at all. I think it's kind of a sidestep. Like, Dan is a solid coach. I thought Dave was solid enough. Now, Dan has the Stanley Cup on his resume, but like you mentioned, Sean, he had Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin on his team. So at their peak. And so, I mean, it's
a lot of coaches could have won with that team. Like, yeah.
Yeah, probably. But, having that experience of being there certainly I think will help. But, you've still got to put some players in the right places in order to reach that pinnacle. And, I think there's talent on this team, but are they Stanley Cup contenders? Like, probably not. But, we'll see what Dan can pull out of these guys and see if maybe he can help them perform above what they normally do. But, I'm not expecting like immediate success. I'm expecting, maybe
compete for a
sneak into the playoffs somehow or
really,
another, and then see what happens.
I will say was a rumor came out that a couple players were not happy with Dan behind the scenes and said they would quote not play for the Kraken if he came back. I think that was
Dave.
Dave. Yeah. To come back, I did hear that they didn't name any players, but if that's the case, then you got to move on because he wasn't, like you said, he wasn't like some crazy coach. And if players like I'm not gonna play for him, then it's just like okay that. And to your point, Matthew, last year, as we saw, sometimes you get lucky. They were not better than the Avalanche last year. They got lucky, and that's why you go process over results because results lied again. So that's just why you do that. So yeah, because this year was about how their talent was the last 3 years. I say the first year was rough because it was going to be rough. Last year, 2 years ago, was crazy lucky. Never was sustainable. Never going to happen. Enjoy it while it lasted. And then this year was about where their talent was. Like maybe a little under, but like you said, Matthew, but I don't think they really underachieved that much. They got at Joey, showed up kind of late. They had rough goaltending in the beginning, and then when Joey came there, it kind of stabilized things. But like just talent wise, when you have a lot of like third and second line guys, they really have like maybe one first line guy on the team. It's just, and that's really not going to cut it. And a couple solid defensemen, but really no first line defenseman either. This is about their talent level. Dave didn't get more, but I think he got basically what the players were. Like this is talent wise, this is what they are, or maybe a little better, but like this is what they were. And yeah, I don't agree. But if players had a problem with him, then it's time to move on. Like because he's not moving the needle that much on his own. So
Kevin, any thoughts on the new coach?
I mean, it is what it is. I agree. I think it's a little probably too soon to really go based off that. Like, I'm not familiar, as familiar with the team as you guys are, like hockey, but 3 years on a starting program, and he went to the playoffs once, even though, like as we mentioned, it was a lucky streak. I think it was kind of early, but hopefully they can start drafting well or maybe make some moves and try to pick up something. I would feel like it's kind of hard when you have nothing a whole lot to trade for. So
I should have traded for Erik Karlsson last year. I kept telling the trade with the Sharks for Erik Karlsson.
I mean, I don't think that would have moved the needle a whole lot, but it certainly would have helped.
But at least it's a 100-point guy, and all you had to do is change Shane Wright, and Shane Wright didn't move the needle. Like that's all it would have taken, really.
Yeah, Shane Wright hasn't moved the needle, so
That's what I'm saying. Like it would have just taken a Shane Wright, and it was a salary dump for the Sharks. Like so, it would have just been like, you take this guy, eat some salary, we'll take Shane Wright, and then at the end, it would have been like, okay, we just gave up Shane Wright at this point, and then you would at least have Erik Karlsson. Like, I'm just
well,
like,
I hope Shane Wright gets a shot at the NHL this year. Like, give
he's
him his shot. Like, I don't care if it fails. Like, let's see it fail then. Like, that's what I want to see.
Well, he's been up like what 3 times already.
Yeah, but he's never really been given a shot to get in the lineup fairly consistently. He's only played like 10 games here, 3 games there, and then they send him back down.
There might be a reason. Like
he crushes in like the AHL.
But I think it's the equivalent of like a 4A guy. Like that's what people are saying kind of behind the scenes. Like he isn't, because he's not doing anything when he's up here. And I get that you want some rhythm, but at a certain point, like there's a lot of people who are like, he just might not be an NHL player. Like, and that's not like based on what he's done there. That's just based on what people see. Like with practice, like he's just might not be there. And who knows? I mean, he's still super young, so could this year, this offseason, maybe he turn around. But like as of right now, he just ain't cutting it yet. He's still young. And
there are a lot of things that like Matty Beniers fell and Andre Burakovsky couldn't stay healthy. And, there's just all these things that factored into the season to where I don't think Dave Haxtell deserved to be fired. But, oh well, it's a business. It happens. And maybe we'll see if they made the right move. We'll see. What do you think of Dan being hired as the Kraken head coach? Go ahead and tweet us. I'm at Baderscore Sean is at NastyBilly22. Kevin is at SEA2Believe. That's C2Believe. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Tell us what you think of our topics in the comments below. Let's talk about the big ticket in Seattle right now. No, not the Seawolves or the Storm. Kraken are in the offseason. That's right. It is the Seattle Mariners. And I could not watch the Mariners while in the UK because of blackout restrictions. So once again, Root, you have failed me. But also the games were on at like
baseball.
Also the games were on at like 1:30 in the morning. So also kind of a problem. But the Mariners, have been doing not too bad while I was across the pond and since I've been back. So they picked up series wins. Split the series against New York in New York. They lost the series against Washington Nationals. Then they won 3 of 4 against Houston, swept the LA Angels, won 2 of 3 against Houston, lost the series most recently against the Kansas City Royals, took 1 of 3, and then they won yesterday, and we will get to that result. Somebody will probably get to that result at some point. And they are currently playing the Chicago White Sox and up 4-3 in the bottom of the 8th. I'm sure somebody's over there is watching. I don't have it up right now, but
Yep.
Kevin, I'm throwing it to you first this time. What have you thought of the Seattle Mariners these past few weeks?
Yeah, kind of what I would hope for, do what you can. You're not going to win every series, of course, because we always like to say on this, other teams are paid to play baseball. I will say, there's been some good and some bad, mainly, especially with the pitching and stuff like that. Good outings, bad outings. Kirby's, been solid. Logan Gilbert had a pretty good outing yesterday, even though he gave up 3. It's still AKs. Yeah, the bats, of course, sure could have been better. Like that they brought up Locklear, with Ty France being injured. Oh, what else? I mean, they're in first place by quite a bit.
5.5 games.
Yeah.
And the Rangers are losing by 11 to or 13 now by the Dodgers. Literally a home run was hit as I updated that. So yeah, Dodgers are putting it to the Rangers right now.
Yeah. And so they have a pretty comfortable lead. I mean, of course, things can change, but yeah, I mean, Julio's kind of been a little bit better. Dominic Canzone coming back has been adding a little bit more to the bats. Crawford's been hitting a couple homers here and there. Like, it's been nice to see. And then last night. I mean, I hate to see you hate to see like what happened during Kansas City where they gave up that many runs when they had such a big lead. But then, even though it was only a 4-0 deficit, you came back within 2 innings and did what you did. Essentially, everybody getting on base, which was nice. The bunt was really good. That dude can bunt. Like, god dang. And then a grand slam by Big Dumper. In the 9th, even though Dave Sims totally blew the call. But
that's what makes him Dave Sims, though. Like,
like Aaron Goldschmidt just needs to be main. Like, he's just so
good. Dave's good. I like that he messes up. It's Dave.
Yeah, I know. I love, and that's the thing too. I love Dave's voice. I think it's really good. It's just like, if Aaron Goldschmidt wasn't around, I'd be okay with it. But Aaron Goldschmidt's just so good. I love that man when he like freaks out. Are you gonna pull it up? Yeah. But you gotta put the thing on.
Oh.
Can you even hear it? I don't know if you
can. You hear it?
No, I can't hear it.
Hold on. Let me
share audio too, I think.
There it is.
This is.
There it is right there. He crushes it, and the Mariners have gone home a winner. A 3-run
By the way,
check by a big
Sean and I are planning to go to the Bark in the Park in September, and they've walked off every Bark in the Park. So, I mean, bodes well for us.
Every Bark in the Park.
Clutch, isn't he?
So you're saying every home game from now on should be Bark in the Park?
We're saying lock it in.
That is what I'm saying.
Let all the dogs in. Let all the dogs in.
Who let the dogs in? We freaking did. When?
Where's the bunt? Do they not have the bunt video?
You could just type in Mariners under the thing and it'll pop up.
I know.
Luke Raley's
the bunt was like 100 miles an hour at like his head, and he got the bunt down.
Well, there's videos of just like the whole 8th inning of how everybody kind of got on.
Yeah. Look how high that bunt is.
That's gonna work. Yes, sir. Luke
Like,
Riley does it again.
And Luke is incredibly fast. Like, for how big and like kind of derpy he looks, he's incredibly fast. Like,
Make bunts great again. That's what I say.
The Nerds have never disliked bunting for hits. Just giving up the out is sacrifice bunting is stupid and should never be done. So people know. Bunting for hits, good. Get on first base. Don't get out. Like, simple problem. Simple idea.
I knew a couple people that kind of got upset with like the whole Kansas City loss. Like, Kansas City's been better than what like a lot of people thought. Like,
well, it's not the team; it's the way they lost. That's
I know that shouldn't happen. But I mean, they're paid to play baseball. I mean, it feels like we have at least 1 or 2 of those games every year.
It's actually, people pointed out it's against Kansas City in Kansas City every year. That's the thing. Like, it is just Kansas City. Even when they were bad, we were losing to Kansas City by like 8 runs. Like, we found a way to always lose to Kansas City. Like,
just like what we do to the White Sox. Like, you all saw some of the clips for White Sox radio where where like the White Sox is cursed in T-Mobile.
I've also said just a week ago they gave up 8 runs in the last 2 innings to the Mariners yesterday. They did 9 in the last 3 innings to the Cubs like 5 days ago. Like the White Sox, when a bullpen comes in, it's like everything is over. Like
Seattle.
Wow.
they can't do
Counted
anything.
that hot dog.
They can't do anything right. Yeah, he's a good boy. But yeah, it's the White Sox. So I guess I'll go. Kevin, are you done?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're good. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'll say like so from like the time like I guess Matthew. So like if you count all the New York series, there was like a little rough period. We just got beat by the Orioles, tied the Yankees, but it was kind of like the Yankees were clearly the better team in that series. We lost to the Nationals, but it was after that last game when we beat the Nationals. It's really been like, sorry, hiccups, a much, much better, more consistent team. The only blip was like that series until now, that series against the Royals was that 10-9 game. To Kevin's point, yes, the Royals are better, but they're overachieving. This is not the Royals. They're not a 600% wins team. That's not who they are. And I was hoping like we knocked them down. I don't know if you guys have been Googling what they've been doing. The Yankees been doing them the last 2 days. And that is like their come to Jesus moment. Like the Yankees are putting it to them. Like, because the Royals just simply are not that good. Like, and that was
That division is a hot pile of crap.
Well, then that's the thing. Like their division has like 3 teams that are really good. And I'm like, it's not going to stay that way. Like right now, like Cleveland is not a 23 games above 500
Well,
team.
can I counter then real quick? Is the AL West going to be this bad the whole time then?
No, the AL West will get better, but like I think the AL West usually is better, but like the Astros are just hurt, Matthew. Since I think we podcasted, they've had 2 more guys go down for Tommy John. I play fantasy baseball. I'm in a deep league. I'm in a 15-team, 300-person league. I don't know 3/5 of the Astros rotation at this point. I don't know who they are. And so they're running out a bunch of nobodies, and Jose Abreu, an MVP, got demoted to complex ball. Like he's back up because of injuries, but I'm just like, Kyle Tucker is hurt. Like they're just decimated at this point. Like, and they have no farm system. So I'm hoping like this means like the end of the Houston Astros run, and it might be, but they're on paper next year, and they'll be better than they are this year. It's just like this year is like everything when it went to crap. And the Rangers last year, the Rangers are not as bad as this record, but again, they got really lucky last year when it came to starting pitcher, and now it's reversing, and they're regressing to the mean. All the pitchers who were good last year and helped them win a World Series are like, this is actually who you are, and there's like crap. And Corey Seager got hurt again, and all their rookies are not good, which is what I said. I was like, Wyatt Langford, everyone in fantasy is like Wyatt Langford, all these other guys. I'm like, you got to have more than 40 at bats for me to like buy that you're like the number 5 prospect in baseball. You know what I mean? Like, so they're getting a reality check. This is closer to who they are. I would say like on paper right now with all healthy people, the Astros are about a 500 team and the Rangers are about a 5-game above 500 team. They'll probably finish close to that, but it's the Mariners division to lose because as we see, the Mariners are getting better. We've been saying it. And the other teams basically have reached their peak. They spent all their money. They called up all their prospects and they don't have anything in the minors. We can get to the Mariners minors later, which is awesome, but like they don't have anything else. They're grasping at straws and have no depth. And so anybody gets hurt and they have a bunch of, the Rangers have like Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer hurt on the roster. They have Corey Seager. Yes, if they're fully healthy, the Rangers are a problem, but they're never going to be. And they never were. And so that's the flaw in their plan and their team. And so I think the Mariners are the best team in this division at this point, how it stands. And probably going forward because the other teams, the Texas and Houston got their World Series rings, but they're a shell. They are damaged goods. They're old. And so I don't know if they're going to be able to compete and get healthy enough fast enough. Because like I said, if this holds, they're going to be 6.5 games out already. And that's just a lot of games to make up. And it can be done.
So let me ask you this, though. So everybody was lauding the Rangers for, signing players and, getting free agents and winning World Series that way. What happened?
Yeah. Well, let's put it this way. If they didn't win the World Series and they had lost in the division, would it be the same lauding or something like that?
No, but they won the World Series.
No, I'm saying would it have been? Because we know baseball is a crapshoot in the playoffs for the most part. So, but like would they? I mean, I think signing good players is good, and I'm not against them with signing Corey Seager and Marcus Semien and getting Jacob deGrom. and trading for Max Scherzer. But Max Scherzer wasn't old Max Scherzer. But they just didn't. The problem with that is they don't have any reinforcements coming. They didn't draft well. They haven't been drafting well. They haven't been developing well. And so when your older players get hurt like they do, there's nothing back there. So it worked really well in the playoffs last year when like Eli White and like Wyatt Langford were going off in the playoffs, and Nathan Eovaldi and John Gray and Jordan Montgomery were playing way above what they're actually capable of doing. But when they're now regressing to who they actually are, they didn't get hot for 2 weeks. This is who they are. Like, they're not that. They're not the team, and neither are the Arizona Diamondbacks. Spoiler alert, don't look at the standings. Like, both teams were hot and got lucky. It's fine. But like, it's like I don't want to bank my team as the Mariners and be like, I have to get lucky to win the series. I want to be able to like, hey, my team's actually talented and good. And yes, I would love for them to sign Corey Seager and Marcus Semien. It's just not going to happen in this front office. So I would rather have a good, sustainable farm system, if nothing else, if you let me pick. And will it lead to World Series? I mean, the best team doesn't win the World Series every year. And so you get in and hope it works. And the Mariners have what we see. Nathan Eovaldi and Jordan Montgomery carried that Rangers team to a World Series. We have 5 pitchers who are better than both of them. We have 6, probably 7 pitchers who are better than them. So hopefully when we get there, we get dangerous. And so that's what I'm saying. Like maybe we do got a shot. So Mariners just won just now. It's official. So it'll be 6.5 games up.
Kevin, do you agree with Sean? Like, the whole aura around, this is the formula. Like that sounds like bullshit, frankly.
What's the formula? No, like
how the Rangers won the World Series last year.
No, because all of their prospects that come up and were doing well, they're not doing well. That's the point. Like it was like everyone's like, this is the formula. And I'm like, guys, it's a 40-game sample size formula. Yes, if Eli and Josh Young and all these guys were still good, they would probably be above the Mariners right now. But they're not, because they're not that good. And that was the point. They're like, man, where did Wyatt Langford come from? Like, he's shot up prospects ranking because he had 50 good plate appearances at the end of the season. And I'm like, guys, like 50 plate appearances doesn't mean anything. And then he's struggling this year. And I'm like, because they're like, man, look at these prospects. I'm like, are they good though? Like you already assumed they're good. Are they good? Like they had like what's his name? Jack Leiter, the number 2 pick. He's great. He can't he can't throw baseballs. He can't throw strikes. He sucks. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, they had all these people who are supposed to be good, and they're just not good. At a certain point, you have to call up and be good. And the Mariners are calling up Brandon Wu, Miller. These guys are good. Like, they're playing good. And that is the difference.
All right. We got to take a brief timeout, commercial break. We're going to come back with some Kevin's thoughts right after this. Welcome back to Washington East to West Sports. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors. If you want to be a sponsor, go ahead and tweet at us. I am at _Matt. Sean is NastyBilly22, and Kevin is at SEA2Believe on X or Twitter. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Tell us what you think in the comments below, and if you want to sponsor us. But let's get back to the Seattle Mariners. And I asked Kevin, I mean, do you agree with Sean here? Are the Rangers flash in the pan from last year?
I think it's really hard, because here's the thing, and as Sean was mentioning with the sample size, now it's especially harder for players to do that, because then you get a whole off season where you now have 50 games of tape on these kids, and now pitchers now know, essentially, especially with like rookies and stuff like that, their adaptability of being able to switch, how they hit and be, keep up with it is different. So most of the time pitchers have a little bit more tape on how they want to pitch at them, essentially. And then you got to adapt and unfortunately at this time, the Rangers, rookies that, were having such good success last year have not yet. Does that mean that they're complete, utter failures for, who knows? They may turn it back on. I mean, shit, Julio was dog shit for like 4 months. And everybody kind of wanted to write him off and like we're wanting to send him back down to AAA and stuff like that. And then, it's baseball is like, and it just comes to show, like, baseball's so hard to play. Like, sometimes it just takes a little bit more time, especially when, everything is hot and, teams are, get on a hot streak. Things just happen. The vibes are up, and sometimes you play better and a little bit more focused. But now that new year, people got tape on you, unfortunately. Now, is it is it the success rate? Yeah, you want to have veterans plus a little bit of, farm system. As Sean mentioned, would I like to have people like Corey Seager on this team? Heck yeah. Would love to have veterans. There's even been talk about, possibly trading Harry Ford down the line because we already have catchers to go get a bat, like something like Vlad Guerrero Jr. or, Luis Robert Jr., even though he's been hurt for a lot of the year. But I mean, we can see what his sample size is last year of hitting over, I think, damn near 40 bombs. Big boy bats like that to, organizations that want to sell. And depending on the Mariners record, we might see that. We might see, Harry Ford and maybe a couple of arms down below get traded for a big boy bat, would I mind? Probably not. I mean, sure, I love Harry Ford too, but we just drafted a catcher and now you got Cal Raleigh. Unless, Harry Ford learns how to play infield, which I mean, I think they've been trying to do. Having a guy like Vlad or, something on the team possibly could boost it. Who knows? Because I know, like I said, the weakness of this team is consistency at bats. So unless the bats, start going, crazy to where we're beating people by 4 or doing like what the Modesto Nets are doing down below. Yeah.
Montes hit another home run today.
I know. Yeah. Lazar, like if you're a Mariners fan, you don't know who Lazaro Montes is, you're just not a Mariners fan. Like that dude is nuts. Like he honestly, I think there are like the other teams like go home and cry at night because they had to face Lazaro Montes. Like that dude is how he's still in Modesto. That's the question. Like that dude should be in Arkansas by now. Like
Everett.
Yeah, okay, at least Everett. But I mean, holy crap. Get that man in Everett so we can come see him live. And me and Sean can just like piss our pants live.
You want to see grown men piss their pants at a ballpark? Because that's how you do it.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Come on,
I will
Mariners.
stand
Because you're not
like
because you're not cool unless you pee your pants.
I will proudly stand and pee my pants cheering Lazaro Montes crush home runs out of freaking was it Gisa Stadium? I think that's what
I
they
mean,
are.
is it a thing where Sean, do you just send Nolan to the outfield when he gets up and you just say, hey, just stand there and wait for it? You get it.
Yeah, just go over the fence and he'll hit it to you.
Yeah. Wait,
Yeah,
I thought at Gisa it was into this like soccer. No, oh,
You can
it's just soccer field. You have to go outside the stadium because it's outside the stadium. It's over the
that's
fence.
right. Yeah.
Down it.
Hey, he can get back in.
send
He's fine.
Yeah.
He's small. He can climb over something. All right. Well, so I have not been able to watch too much, but based on what I have watched, what do you guys think of Ryan Bliss? He was called up. No Polanco. Any thoughts on Ryan Bliss, Kevin?
Well, I mean, I'd rather probably have Polanco at the moment, but might as well get the young kid a shot and see what he's got. For you probably aren't going to have him for a little bit, but I'm always up for giving young kids a shot to see what you got. And honestly, if it pans out, you got that's another trading piece, down the line. So sure.
Sean, any thoughts on Bliss?
Bliss
Blessed to have Bliss.
He's fun, but like Kevin's right. When Polanco comes back, it needs to be Polanco. Bliss is the guy in like a playoffs, like a Dave Roberts. Remember that series where he stole a base? He's that guy. He could play more than Dave Roberts, though. He's not like a pure like I come in and do this, but like next year when Cole Young is up here, like one of the Mariners' top prospects, like that's gonna be really nice, and he could be like that guy who comes off the bench like a Mitch Haniger or a Garver gets on base, and he's like in the 8th inning, he's like go get second. Like, just go get it. And then because watching Bliss run, it's just like, it's ridiculous. So, yeah, they're just like, you're going to get on in the 8th inning. We need a run. Go get on first. And he could still, and it's not like, because, a lot of those guys, when they do that, like, they're good with the glove. But then if it goes to extras, like, you're like, oh my gosh, we got to pinch hit for this guy because he can't get on base. Bliss, I'm like, he's an upgrade on that. It's not like he's like a dead bat, but it's just like, we can get to the prospects later, but we have like 19 infield prospects that like all of baseball wants. And so like, there's just not going to be a spot for Ryan Bliss, unfortunately, in like 2 years. So like Kevin said, a trade prospect or like a guy that comes off the bench and steals a base. Like I love what he would bring. And again, he has some versatility. Like it's just
If you want to see that boy's speed, watch as when Julio hit it out in the 8th.
Yeah.
You could see that dude just hauling ass.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. So it's having guys like Bliss who are like, oh, they might not start. I'm like, those guys are still incredibly valuable when it comes to playoff, because playoff baseball is like, obviously your starters are good enough to get there, and then there's obviously like variations, like some teams are obviously better than that, but a lot of it comes down to your bench players too, like those extra little like role players. Those makes sense. Like the Washington Nationals won because Howie Kendrick got hot when that 1 year. And like a Brian Bliss is like perfect for that situation. Like a guy comes off the bench, you don't know who he is, ripping double, stealing bases like that. Like it just screams that type of player for me. So I'm very excited for Brian Bliss to play playoff baseball.
And let's get some applause for a new franchise record. Ty France, the most hit by pitches all time for the Seattle Mariners. So congratulations, Ty. Way to take 90 for the team. Now, he was hurt because of this last one, but I think he is day to day, if I am not mistaken. So
his heel.
Oh, 10-day IL. Sorry, 10-day IL.
Yeah. But he is already throwing. Like, so I think it's gonna be like minimum.
So hopefully you don't get too much more into that record, Ty, because those baseballs definitely hurt. So
Tyler Locklear's okay. I actually am not super bummed.
I'd rather see Locklear.
I mean, Tyler Locklear probably needs to stay when Ty France comes back, and then split some at bats maybe. I'm just saying, like split some at bats maybe, because I like what Tyler Locklear.
Viva la France, but okay, all right, guys. All right, well, trade deadline is at the end of July. Is that correct?
I think so.
Okay. So on as you guys have mentioned, the Mariners are in first place. Sounds like they may be buyers at the trade deadline. So I was reading a Seattle Times article. Who wrote it? Adam Jude. And you tell me what you think of this trade package. So
no. I'm gonna tell you right now,
no. I haven't seen it.
Oh no, I haven't seen it. I'm gonna tell you no.
Oh, okay.
Okay, go read it. You can read it.
I know I lost it though. Hold on. So they want to trade for Luis Roberts, and they want to trade.
That's the one I want. Okay.
Where did the trade go?
I'll say it while you find it. I don't want Vlad, and I don't want Bo Bichette.
Why not?
Vlad is overrated. People think he is who he was the MVP. His exit velo is great, but his launch angle is terrible. He's only ever going to be like maybe an 800 hitter, and the price to pay to get Vlad is you're going to have to pay for MVP Vlad, and that's never coming back, especially in T-Mobile Park. You're going to overpay for Vlad, and I don't want to pay that price. I will pay that price for Luis Robert because his profile doesn't fit great, but he has 4 more years of control, and he's 26, and his launch angle is fine.
Yeah, but I mean, you saw him crush that one yesterday.
Yeah, his issue is he never plays more than 100 games a season, and that is a real issue.
Yeah, he has hurt.
Luis Robert for the package of Harry Ford, Felnine Celestin, and Tyler Gow. That was his proposal.
No,
I'm not super opposed to it. I would try to not have Celestin in there, and maybe but Gow, or is it say the last name again? Because I've
Tyler
heard
Gow,
Goff.
Gough.
Oh, Gow. Because I've heard it Goff as well.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yes, I've heard it Goff. He's a very quick riser arm wise, but there's a lot of arms that people love in the system again, because that's what the Mariners do. They just pump out arms, but like again, you can't play them all. Like you just can't play them all. So I'm okay with him. Harry Ford, I'm okay because he's eating a lot of that value because he's a hitting catcher. So he really. I would try to not have it Celestin because I feel like, hey, I'm giving you a hitting catcher, a young hitting catcher, which is like the most valuable thing of this young starting pitcher in all of baseball. So I would try to be like, hey, maybe lower that second person down a little bit, and then we could talk.
All right, well, hold on. We're going to talk prospects, but this is a segue into that. Are there any prospects you're saying, absolutely not, we're not trading this prospect?
No, there's no untouchable, because it depends on who you're getting. If you offer me, it like obviously there's unrealistic ones, but like you're like Mookie or Ohtani, I'm like, yes, take my prospects. Like shut up, say less. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but like
okay, but let's get real though.
A real. I mean, they could. I mean, like the Dodgers can only have so much money. There's only so much money in the state of California. Like, and they're running out. They have all the money as a state, But like, I mean, I say no because there's always a price for somebody. If you want to trade me your entire team, Houston, then sure. But like, probably, I mean, honestly, like, untouchable is probably Montas, Bradley Kevin,
Let's
right?
say
Like,
Lazaro Montes, I wouldn't.
I probably say Colt Emerson as well, who's probably going to actually be the number one Mariners prospect. Someone is there's insiders from Baseball Prospectus says he might be the number one prospect in all of baseball at the end of the year. Which is a lot. Him, and I really like Johnny Fermello. So those are probably the three I say no. And yeah, those are probably the three I say no on. But again, if you like add another player to it, I'll be like, okay, then you can have them. But
So that deal I just
You gotta
said, you
blow
said
me away
yes,
for
Sean,
one.
and Kevin said no. Is that correct, or did you both say no?
we both said no.
Okay.
I would yeah.
For the trade,
I-
yeah.
I would probably, if it was not Celestin and then like another like arm, some like not like a
Yeah.
crazy high arm, but like a decent, then I would say
Michael
yes.
Morris, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then I'd say yes.
Yeah.
Just because, yeah, like I said, you're getting a crazy good hitter, and a catching hitter too, and then you're adding two arms into it. And the White Sox need arms.
White Sox need just
Yeah, they need everything.
But yes,
let's be frank, they need everything. So I would do it for those three, yes. And as Sean mentioned too, having 4 years of control is nutty.
and that's why I don't know if that's gonna get it even done because there's a lot of value still in that because of just his young and he's got control.
Yeah, maybe I might like since we have if Celestin starts going hot, I would throw in the other shortstop kid, what's his name, Axel or whatever this fucking.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, he's like our seventh shortstop in prospects. I mean, he just hasn't played well this year, to be honest. But yeah, I don't think that gets it done. He just hasn't played well enough because they're gonna want one of the shiny toys because the Mariners have like all of them now. The Mariners are tied for the Cubs with, according to Baseball Prospectus, 7 of the top 100 prospects in baseball at their mid-year mark. Like, it's ridiculous.
But if you're asking if someone's I mean, realistically, yes, let's answer it. Like, yeah, if you're throwing me Ohtani, then I'd be like, well, yeah,
the three I said is probably untouchable, but again, for you add one more major league player, I'd probably say yeah, but you'd have to blow me away for one of those three, like absolutely blow me, like get ridiculous a little bit.
And control too.
Yeah,
like I don't want like a 1 year.
No, none of the top 10. I am moving for a one. That's what I'm saying. Like everyone's like Vlad or all these other guys. I'm like Pete Alonso. You're not touching a top 10 guy for a rental. It's not happening.
No,
we're hang up the phone, Jerry.
Yeah,
and I'm glad I give Jerry credit. He had so much pressure to trade one of these young arms, the Woo and the Miller, and I was even like on board with it. And he did not like the deals, and he was like, "F that! I'm not getting value for these guys. I'm going to keep them." And well, turns out they're both still good at baseball.
I would honestly, at this point, I'll call it now. I think Luis Robert will be a Mariner probably by the end of the year.
Really, I don't think he is. I don't think he is, and I'm okay with it because again, I'm not. Baseball as like a whole in the minors are like these guys are scary good. Like some of these guys could be good, and I get that you want to trade some of them, but like if the price isn't right to get rid of them, don't get rid of them just because you don't have a position to play for them right now. Have a lot of good players and don't play it because injuries happen. You never know what's gonna happen with development, and if you don't think you're gonna get value for a Ty Pete, don't trade a Ty Pete. But
by trade deadline, if all your starting rotation is healthy, like.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm more on the like trade for like smaller pieces, like the Braves did a couple years ago when they got a Jeff Frank Ford the trade deadline. When they won the World Series, like moves like that, like fill in like extra pieces because like I don't think a guy like a Robert is he's going to cost too much. A Vlad is going to cost too much for his value. A Bo Bichette might just be broken. You know what I mean? Like the big pieces on these big name teams that are struggling, I'm not super thrilled with other than Robert. And I just think that like if it's going to take you like 3 of these guys, am I going to trade 3 of these guys for Luis Robert?
It just depends on what pieces for Robert. Like
yeah,
if it's
it depends on
forward and a couple of if it's like 2 or 3 others, I'd be okay with it.
And if I'm giving you Harry Ford, your return other than that is very low because he's a 21-year-old monster hitting double-A short catcher, which is like crazy young, is decent behind the plate, but is like crazy with the bat. Like, is basically like he's like right on the cusp. Will be up by next year, and I'm just like that is so valuable. And I'm like, if you want this guy who's like catchers don't hit in baseball, I'm going to give you one of them. Like your other options are very low. Like Luis Robert and Harry Ford, if everyone projects Harry Ford to be who he's going to be, it might that might be a win for the White Sox. And I get that you can't give that just to the White Sox. So I go, look, your other two pieces are not going to be amazing, like my top 10 pieces, because you're getting Harry Ford. Like that guy moves so many sticks. A catcher who can hit is incredibly valuable. We just saw the dumper hit a dump last night. It's usually a dead spot for teams in their lineup, and it is not for the Mariners, and it is huge advantage.
Yeah. I think if you
and it's a huge dumper.
I think it's a steal for even for like if you give them Harry Ford and then two like decent arms, like not like our top arms, but like our sixth and seventh. Like I think that's a good trade for the White Sox. Like because you're getting rid of contract cap, you get like I said, essentially what everybody wants in baseball, and you're getting extra arms to where like when the White Sox need a lot. Now I know because of the whole Juan Soto bullshit that everybody wants the farm, and it's just sadly.
Yeah, if you want the farm, I'm not doing it. I'm not even having a conversation with you because we built it. Like it's just like that's what I'm saying. Like I get you trade from it, but like Kevin's point,
but look because now people are starting to see like look at the Yankees this year. Like I mean, yeah, they're okay, but like they're not like murdering everyone. Like
they are. They're like the best.
I
know. But yeah.
But I mean, are they going to win the World Series? Probably.
But, I mean,
pretty good shot, I would say.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk.
What do you want? Would you make the trade?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know these prospects as well as you. So, I mean, based on my knowledge, I would say yeah. I would like to see them take a shot. Like you're in a position right now where you got like, you are in a prime position to, you've got arms, and if the bats can do anything, like this could be it. Like let's go for it. Like let's go for it.
That trade wouldn't piss me off. Do I think you're maximizing value? Probably not, but it wouldn't piss me off. Like there's trades where you make a trade like, oh, what the hell are you doing? That would not make me do that. I get what they're doing. Like to Matthew's point, I would get it. It wouldn't make me mad if they did that.
Like when they made that move for Luis Castillo, like that felt like, yeah, let's try, let's go for it. Like let's do it. Like last year there wasn't that. Like it was just meh. Like let's, as a team, like if we want to win a World Series, let's put the chips in and go for it. Let's like, I'm sure like maybe hindsight might be 2020 and we burn a few guys that end up being really good, but that's the risk you take. If this is your shot, take the shot.
Yeah.
Well, and Jerry and Hollister have shown they can just reload again. Like, I mean, you can't bank on all the time. You can't bank on all the time. That's for sure.
But I mean, even if you trade three dudes, like that farm system is still so fucking packed. Like
crushed last year's draft. Absolutely annihilated last year's draft.
Yeah.
I mean, they got 4 top 100 players in last year's draft alone. Crushed it. Absolutely crushed it. So they're doing something right. So, like to Matthew's point, if you trade 3 guys and some don't work out, you've got to be able to trust that your process still works and you could do it again. Maybe that's the extent. You're not going to have a 2012 Seahawks draft every year, but you've got to not have the, 2016 to 2020 Seahawks drafts. Just avoid those years and hit some safe.
To 2020. But
all right. Well, let's talk some prospects. You guys have already mentioned a few. Anyone you want to mention that's just destroying baseballs or destroying hearts in other leagues?
I'll give one. Aiden Smith, the guy who actually hits 4 in that Modesto lineup and has a 121 WRC plus. For those who don't know, WRC plus is based off of like weighted runs created plus, and it takes into account the whole league and everything like that. The average is 100. So of the league, it takes into account ballpark factors and everything like that. 100 is average. He is a 121, which means he is 21% better than the average player at that level. And he was a later round pick too. Where was he at? Oh shoot. Matthew just shared it and it backs me out of everything. Where is
sorry.
No, you're good. He's 19. He's the fourth round pick last year for $1 million. And yeah, he's crushing it in that team on that team. So Kevin could talk about some other guys. I just want to give a shout out for Aiden Smith, who everyone's like, is this guy super good too? And also, yeah, so and he plays outfield, so plays all outfield positions. So he's awesome. He's now cracked our top 30, and he'll probably closer to like 15 next at this one. So yeah, awesome.
What a minor league ballpark down there in Modesto. Like, that is interesting.
Modesto is fun, and that team is they're terrifying. Like Kevin said, they're just they scare.
What's their run
What?
differential right now? That's just stupid. Like higher than the Dodgers.
Basically, if they won a game, it was by 8 runs. Is what they averaged.
Like this must feel like high school for these kids with like houses in the outfield and stuff. Like it's crazy.
Matthew, these are kids.
I know
like,
they're kids, but they're not. They're professional players, though.
Yeah,
I know, but like that's what I'm saying. They're Modesto Nuts are just like children. They're like 18 and 19 years old, and they're just doing this to grown men. Like, just ridiculous.
Yeah, I was just gonna like as I mentioned, Lazaro Montes that we're watching right now. The baseballs have to go to therapy because of this guy.
Yeah.
Also, they got nuts on the front of their uniform. I'm sorry, it's just too
funny. As Sean already mentioned, Go or Goo or however you pronounce them, Logan Evans is still just being awesome down below.
They've lost 4 games in a row, and then they're going to win tonight, and that brought their run differential down to 100.
Matt
100.
Matt Tabor's had a good last week, roughly too. Because he just, I think he just shifted. I forgot where he went to, but he's been having a good, from what I've been seeing on there. But oh my God, just
Jonathan Mello, he's 19.
Yeah, Johnny.
Michael Arroyo, amazing. Ty Pete, is just like an athletic freak, and he always was. He's been great. Cole Emerson again.
Cole Young.
He might be the number 1 prospect in baseball this time next year, or this time off season.
Cole Young's been still performing very well.
He's in Double-A, but yeah, he's up there. He's up there.
Like I say, for all minors, like it's just Mariners minors league farm is just nuts.
Yeah, Ben Williamson plays a mean third base. I'm just throwing that out there. If you start struggling, Rojas, I'm just saying plays a mean third. So, Cole Young is killing it. 130 WRC plus.
Is Josh Rojas still the best player on according to WRC plus still, or?
Let me see here.
Probably not.
How I gotta figure out how to teams. There's gotta be a way to do this. Sort of by yes, he is. Cal Raleigh is second. Yeah, Josh Rojas is still the best. His defense is pretty good. His offense has just been great. But Josh Rojas. Well, position players. The most valuable player is George Kirby's right now. Well, almost 2 WAR right now. Let me see. WRC plus is people who qualify. Luke Rayleigh has the highest WRC plus. Josh Rojas is to be fair, he is WRC plus is Luke Rayleigh at 116 and Josh Rojas is 115. So,
but if you're noticing a trend, like literally dang near every 3 videos, it's Lazaro Montes hitting another home run. Like, I hear home runs are good. I don't know. That's what I
2-run sack fly though. That's pretty impressive.
The Modesto Nuts are just messing with people. It's just they're bored.
Like, look at the one now. Lazaro Montes goes deep for the 2nd time in 3 games.
He has 66 RBIs.
Yeah.
Context. They played 50 games.
Yeah, I was going to say they've played less games than the Mariners, and
it's on pace for 190 RBIs in a major league baseball.
That's what fans need to realize. They have played way less games than the Mariners, and this dude is just holy crap. He's doing Aaron Judge things. but even probably more.
I think the
on
biggest
single
problem is he's
strike.
wearing 44. Like, sorry, that number's taken in the majors. So at least on the
You can
team
have
you're
whatever.
going to be on,
You
hopefully.
you give that number to whatever whatever he wants.
I was gonna say Julio's big, but Montez might have him.
Yeah, I was about to say Julio can change. I don't give a
No,
crap.
Julio's not changing, but Montez will figure it out. Be 43. Just whatever you want. You pick whatever number else you want.
Because I don't want any beef between the two because I still do love Julio, but
Montez is yeah, he's not gonna be long for that level. He can't be.
if he like
72 hits.
I can tell you right now, if he is in Everett by July, we will go watch him and give a live. I will literally I will stand and I will pee my pants in front of
Hey, you heard it
everybody.
here first, everybody. He's peeing his pants.
Michael Arroyo has 42 RBIs. As
I
well.
might get kicked out of the stadium for standing and peeing my pants in front of everybody.
I don't
but
think so.
we
It's
will do.
it's the Dust Devils. You would be fine,
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
true.
It's
Yeah.
it's single. It's single
Plus,
A ball.
They might actually just give you some new pants, I think.
JT
And
kind of work. It doesn't, he's got the in with them, so I'd be like, JT, just tell security to look the other way during Montez. You'd be like,
so
okay.
actually what you could do is maybe get them to have a promotion like spare pants night or something at the
Yeah.
Dust Devils. So that way when they come to town and everybody's peeing their
I
pants, then they can just stand
yeah,
out in
no,
their
you,
pants.
you just call it your pee pants night.
Yeah.
Everybody wears
Absolutely.
their pee pants.
Yeah.
I've been in my pee pants all day.
Been in
And
my pee pants all day.
somebody's got to pee in these pants, and it's gonna be me. So
I'm just trying to see here.
okay, so yeah, the end of July is Everett. So Montez? Not sure.
Is it AS or ES?
I think it was AS.
Then it's Montas.
Okay. Well, Montas, if you're an Everett Aquasock by that time, these boys are gonna be very happy to see you.
Yeah.
So
I will probably go at least 3 days.
Jerry, get on the phone. All right. There's a Rooster Tails towel giveaway on that Friday they're there. So that actually would probably help with the pee pants. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that'd probably be a good night too. That's Friday.
Yeah.
So all right.
All
Well,
right.
let us know what you think of the Mariners prospects. Go ahead and tweet us. I'm at _Matt. Sean is at NastyBilly22. Kevin is at C2Believe. That's SEA2Believe. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Tell us what you think in the comments below. Next time we'll have some more Mariners. We'll see where they're at. We'll see they're still leading the AL West. And Seahawks are probably pretty slow. So we won't hear from them probably till like August.
Probably
But
have more All-Star break news if anybody's All-Star, but
yeah. Probably have some all-star news. I'm not sure when they announced that. What is it, end of June-ish, generally?
I think so.
Something like that.
yeah.
And yeah, with that, we will see you next time on Washington East to West Sports. Bring back our Sonics.